Silas Bronson Library on this beautiful day. The sun feels so good. And I am so happy to be here for this event. The VITA tax prep program is such an essential service, and we're so happy to be able to partner with the various organizations who are here with us today in order to provide this. The libraries, you know, one of our essential services really is to make information accessible, make resources accessible to people who might not be able to access them. So whether that's just borrowing books from the library, or if it's something like the free tax prep program, these are all things that are so important for libraries to offer to the public, because there's very few places that you can go where everything is going to be free. So thank you so much for coming, and enjoy this beautiful day.
Absolutely. Raechel, thank you so much for everything that you do for the library, and I want to thank the City of Waterbury for hosting us on this gorgeous day, and I want to thank Commissioner Boughton for joining us, and for Mayor Pernerewski, and hopefully our local legislators as well, because we want to promote the VITA services that are so important. VITA services have allowed those that take advantage of the tax preparation expertise that they provide to maximize their tax credits, avoid unnecessary fees, and increase their financial stability and help them get refunds more quickly. These services increase tax compliance, they promote filing accuracy, and they save our families money. Last tax season, according to the United Way, nearly 300 volunteers prepared and filed 13,500 tax returns, which resulted in nearly $20 million in tax credits and refunds that were returned to central and northeastern Connecticut. And on average, those who file their tax returns will save between $200 and $300 in tax preparation fees by making use of VITA services. So that's why we're here today. The governor and I are very committed to providing relief for families, especially those families who are on fixed incomes and for whom inflation has made it much more challenging. So this year we also want to highlight that there is a permanent increase in the earned income tax credit from 30.5% to 40%, which makes a big difference. And also, here's another good reason to file your tax returns. We have provided the biggest tax cut in the income tax, and people who filed their taxes this year in 2024 will see that tax cut. So 1.1 million tax filers will see it. Families that make $300,000 or less will get the benefit of the tax cut. Also, individuals who make $150,000 or less will see that tax cut. We want to make sure that our families take advantage of this, and we also want people to know that VITA services are available for those who make $65,000 or less, people with disabilities, and limited English-speaking residents can also take advantage of these really terrific services. So if you would like to take advantage of VITA tax preparation services, you need to make an appointment by calling 211 or 860-356-2000 to make an appointment. And it's really important to call, because when you call, you will get a list of documents that you need to bring with you, so you'll have everything that's necessary to prepare your tax return when you show up for your appointment. So now it's my pleasure to introduce our Commissioner of Revenue Services, who's also going to remind us that if you file your tax return, you should get your refund if you're owed one. If you file online, you will get your return in 3 days, 4 days?
3 days for you, Bill.
3 days. 3 days. So if you want more incentive to file your tax return, that, ladies and gentlemen, is it. So with that, our fearless Commissioner of Revenue Services, Mark Boughton.
Thank you. Please. Thank you. It's great to be here with Mayor and certainly our Director of Library Services. Critical core job to this wonderful city of Waterbury. Little known fact, I used to live here, so I used to come to this library all the time. Great services, and one of the services that obviously we provide are those by VITA. We're excited to remember that VITA is vital. So I used to call it VITA, I now call it VITA. And it's vital because most people out there, particularly those earning $50,000 or less, have a refund coming to them. We owe you money. And we want to write that check to you and put money in your pocket so you can reinvest it in your child's education or maybe a summer sports program or whatever it might be. There's opportunity there for you. And the folks, if you don't file, you don't get your money. For those folks that are, as the governor has mentioned, about $50,000 or less, there is no income tax, effectively, when you add in the earned income tax credit. So for the first time, and I think she's a little bit too modest, Lieutenant Governor Bysiewicz has led us through the largest cut in the history of the state as it relates to our income tax. It's a tremendous accomplishment. And a couple of housekeeping notes. We are open at DRS extended hours, those last 4 frantic days up till 6 o'clock. We're at 450 Columbus Avenue. Just come right up, and we have a front-facing live people that will actually talk to you about your return if you're having a challenge. You also can reach us via our website, and you can reach us on the phone if you need to. And those are live operators right here in Hartford that our Connecticut residents can certainly walk you through the process. But we're definitely excited. The governor took all the thunder about how quick we can get your refund back to you, but it doesn't happen without the VITA folks that are here today, the VITA folks that are doing all the work each and every day. A lot of them are retired. They do this out of the goodness of their hearts. They help you fill out these forms, and we're gonna give you a check in 3 days or less. So thank you, Governor, for caring so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Commissioner. And it is very important to say thank you to our VITA volunteers. They're amazing, and they range from retired accountants and business professionals to even high school and college students that have gotten certified. They've taken the training. They do fantastic work, and we couldn't be talking about this program without the hundreds of volunteers that do this really great work. So with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Waterbury Mayor Paul Pernerewski.
Thank you, Governor, and good morning. It's great to be with you all this morning, and I just want to thank Lieutenant Governor Bysiewicz, Commissioner Boughton for visiting Waterbury. I'm not going to welcome you to Waterbury because you both spend a lot of time here with us and you're very familiar to us, but thank you for coming to help raise awareness about the services that are available to our residents with respect to their tax preparation. And I also want to acknowledge Alderwoman Belinda Weaver, who's with us here today from the City of Waterbury. Thank you for coming out with us. I want to also thank the United Way of Greater Waterbury and the team, and Kristen Jacoby, who's with us, the president today. Tax preparation and the VITA program is just one small slice of what they do for the citizens of Waterbury. And the work that you do is so important to our residents. Thank you for everything that you do. You know, the programs like VITA are so critical to a city like Waterbury, where so many of our residents are stressed financially, and it makes such a difference in their lives to help them with the preparation, to make sure they do it right, to make sure they take maximum advantage of the programs that are out there and the refunds they're entitled to. Here in Waterbury, we have 6 locations for people who want to visit a VITA volunteer to have their taxes prepared. Last year, they processed in Waterbury over 885 tax returns resulting in $1 million in federal refunds just to the residents of Waterbury. And as the Lieutenant Governor said, saving about $250 per return, which is a significant amount of money to keep in your pocket. I want to thank the VITA volunteers who are out there, as the Lieutenant Governor said. Without their support and without their efforts, none of this would be possible. We live in a world where too often today people say, when they're thinking about things to do, what's in it for me? What's the maximum return for me? These are folks who look at it and say, how can I help my community? How can I help the people in my community? And it's that sort of selflessness that makes this such a great community to live in. So I want to thank them for all that they do for us. So just to let you know, the locations in Waterbury, obviously here at the Silas Bronson Library, and I want to acknowledge Raechel Guest and all the great work they do here in the library as well. This is just, again, one part of what they provide. It's such a central part of what happens in Waterbury. But you can come here between 9 and 2 on Mondays and 9:30 and 2:30 on Fridays, or make an appointment. Nest down right here on Grand Street, 193 Grand Street, Thursdays between 3 and 6. New Opportunities on Saturdays between 9 and 1 p.m. The Hispanic Coalition of Greater Waterbury between 9 and 2 on Thursdays. At Duggan School after school between 3 and 6 o'clock. And at the Children's Community School on Wednesdays between 3 and 7 o'clock. So I hope everyone who's eligible will take advantage of it. It's really worthwhile, and thank you for all those who make it possible.
Great, Mayor. Thank you so much, especially for highlighting those 6 locations where people in Waterbury can go to get their tax filing done. I would like to bring up Jered Bruzas of the United Way Greater Waterbury. He is the Chief Impact Officer, and I want to acknowledge all the great people who join us from the United Way as well. Jered.
Lieutenant Governor, thank you for your presence here today, as well as the Commissioner, and always grateful for the great support of our great Mayor, Paul Pernerewski. Fortunate to be with us here is Chris Jacoby, our President and CEO, Kay Mello, our Director of Community Impact, and Renee Young, our Senior Manager of Community Impact. As the Commissioner said a few minutes ago, VITA is vital. And how does hundreds of dollars sound back in your pockets? Over $1.2 million being reinvested into the hands of some of those in most need in our community. But for the free services of VITA, this doesn't happen. We're really fortunate to provide the support in collaboration with our friends at CAUSE, who Nick is with us today, and who has done a tremendous job throughout the entire state of Connecticut, and particularly our beloved city of Waterbury and beyond. But for the vital services of VITA, folks wouldn't have access to these free services that put hundreds of dollars in the pockets of people that need it the most in our community. The average return right now that last year was over $1,400 going back in people's homes, right? $1,400 is quite a bit. It's helping to stabilize our community, helping ensure that folks are able to put food on the table, pay for their utility bills, and pay the rent or mortgage or whatever they need to utilize those supports for. We're really grateful to continue to offer this partnership, grateful for the city's support in allowing us to utilize some of their public sites, and also the great not-for-profits that the mayor just mentioned, where we're able to house and provide these services. Also looking to expand, right? The reality is these vital services need to continue to grow, and we're fortunate to continue to receive support from the city, and hoping for some additional support through some resources coming down the future. The reality is, in order for us to continue to provide these services to ensure that folks' needs are met, we need to continue to do it together. Over 59%, so almost 60% of all the folks in our beloved city are ALICE, asset limited, income constrained, and employed. These folks are working day in and day out, having a hard time making ends meet. But for the services vital and the myriad of services that the United Way of Greater Waterbury is able to provide with our community partners, and in strong collaboration with 211, we're able to continue to meet those needs. United Way of Greater Waterbury is poised to stand shoulder to shoulder with the mayor's office, the governor's office, and anyone who wants to continue to work for and support families that are most in our community, especially our VITA population. So, Lieutenant Governor, thank you for your presence. Thank you for your investments in our community. Thank you for the tax credit. Appreciate that. My wife appreciates it as well, and really continue to look forward to some great things happening here. Thank you.
Okay, well, we send regards from the hardworking legislators from the Waterbury delegation who are very supportive of United Way and who all voted in favor of the tax cuts and credits I just spoke about. So we thank them. And I don't think we have any media partners here. So I want to thank everyone for coming. We really appreciate it. And we'll look forward to getting the message out to the Waterbury area. Thank you so much.